Hello and welcome back for week 3 at Doak Campbell Stadium, where two top 5 teams are squaring off in today's matchup between LSU and Florida State. FSU is coming off a victory over Alabama last week, but LSU provides a unique challenge by providing a quarterback in Jaden Daniels who can definitely make them pay if Florida State is not at the top of their game this week. They also have a stable of running backs that should all be able to get plenty of carries and plenty of production if Florida State is not up to the task today. This LSU receiving core has a variety of skill sets, such as Brian Thomas Jr. being your big play guy and big body. Malik Neighbors has the most speed of their elite guys at the top of this receiving room and has shown a proclivity for making big plays. And then Kyron Lacey is a great slot player that is going to be able to work in the middle of the field and probably give them an advantage in today's matchup. And LSU is going to be without one of their better pass rushers in Swinson, and they're going to have to rely on some other guys to step up and provide that pass rush if LSU wants to be able to get through this very experienced FSU offensive line. And you can't talk about this LSU defense without talking about Harold Perkins Jr., who as a true freshman was wreaking havoc at all levels, and he picked up where he left off in week 1 against TCU in the All-State Kickoff Classic, where he had not just one interception, but he had 2 interceptions, and the second one being the one that sealed the deal and gave LSU a victory in week 1 in the All-State Kickoff Classic. Now we know Florida State is going to have their hands full in this matchup, but I think we're ready for kickoff between these two top 5 teams as in their first matchup ever as SEC foes. And the kick is going to be away here, and we are ready for football here at Doak Campbell Stadium. And it's time for the Florida State offense to take the field with the senior Jordan Travis ready to take the first snap with his running back Trey Benson in the backfield with him. And with this snap, Benson is able to work his way in the middle of the field, bouncing off a couple of defenders like a pinball, and gets a few yards, and this Florida State offense is on their way and trying to keep a good pace today, maybe using some of that hurry-up we saw last week against Alabama if necessary. But they're going to keep it pretty traditional to start here, with Jordan Travis making a couple of adjustments, even flipping the plays. He doesn't have a lot of time on the play clock as the receivers switch sides here. Going to bring them all to the right, ready for the snap now in Travis. He's looking to his right, scrambling out to the right side, looking for space, and he's able to get close to the first down marker, but still going to be a little bit short, using his legs early and putting that threat in LSU's mind. This one's going to go to Toafili, who gets his way all the way up the middle of the field, trying to get to the right-hand side, but will pick up 8 yards, and Florida State has a first down, and they are going to get this offense moving early and often, hopefully. Travis is able to find the freshman, Hakeem Williams, who had no catches last week, and this one was going to go for no yards, but still trying to get the ball to him and seeing if that dynamic playmaker has anything there. This pass is going to be down and away, and that is not going to get to your big target in Johnny Wilson. This brings up 3rd down for the Seminoles. Looks like Travis is going to get the shotgun snap. Time running down again. They're taking a lot of time here. And this ball does get to Keon Coleman, but he has to come back to the ball, and it is 4th and 3. They are over the 50-yard line, and they're going to go for it. This already shows the urgency that Coach Mike Norvell has in this situation. He knows you need points in these big matchups, and giving the home crowd what they want. Snap gets to Travis, and he's able to find Johnny Wilson for 11 yards on a nice route right to the sidelines, using his big body and not letting anybody get in there. Man in motion, and this ball gets to Benson, and he's able to get 6 yards on the run. And Florida State is going to need to continue getting those positive yards, working and grinding out those hard yards so that they can open up those explosive plays for him in this offense. The redshirt freshman Rodney Hill joins the offense in the backfield now. He's going to get the snap to Travis, and Travis will be close to a first down, but it's still going to be 3rd and 1, another 3rd down opportunity for the Noles offense, where they have been successful so far, so not necessarily a bad thing. The ball will get to Benson here on the handoff, and that's going to be 2 more yards, so the offense is going to continue chugging away. Fakes the handoff to Toafili before Travis scampers his way up the middle, and he'll have first down yardage. Offense staying on schedule, making them sure that they're in 3rd downs that they can manage. Snap to Travis. He's looking. He finds Kentrum Portier, and he drops it in the end zone, and that is a big drop on a good look. So now they're going to have to reset on 2nd down and 10 for this Florida State offense. Travis going to look here in the shotgun. He's looking over the middle, and he's able to find Darian Williamson for his first catch of the year, and that'll be 14 yards and down to the 2-yard line, looking to pound it in now. Handoff to Benson, and he is not able to work himself in the end zone. That's going to go for no gain, and this Florida State offense is now at 2nd and goal. They have a big package in with Kyle Morlock and Jaheim Bell as the tight ends. And they're going to hand it off to the fullback, Keziah Holmes, who's the 4th running back on this team. And he's going to come up short. And it's going to be a 3rd and goal from about the 1-inch line. It's going to be more of a pistol look with Benson in the backfield with him. Let's see if Travis is able to make the play here. Fakes the handoff to Benson, has a clear path to the end zone. And that's going to be 6 for Jordan Travis. And that touchdown is going to put Florida State up 7-0 early on. And I think it's important that they establish the tone for this matchup, that they weren't going to be intimidated. We saw last week against Bama, it was kind of a slow start for the offense, and that's a welcome look for Florida State. This now brings up Jaden Daniels. His first snap, he's going to hand it off to John Emery Jr. He's going to find 3 yards, and he looked like he had a bigger lane, but chose to kind of run through the defenders, bringing the physical attention to Florida State's defense, which I don't know if that's a smart move to go with, but certainly a strategy. Daniels with the snap. He's going to look, and he's going to fire over the middle of the field early and finds Kyron Lacey for about 18 yards. And we had mentioned in the pregame that Kyron Lacey in the slot is a dangerous weapon that we're going to expect LSU to try and take advantage of with how skilled he is there. They're going to fake the handoff, and they're able to find Lacey again, who's on a slant route. He makes a man miss, and he's able to work himself around and get another 16 yards. So Florida State is going to have to adjust. They are already getting attacked in the middle of the field like they have previously, and LSU looks like they have the game plan early. This throw to Aaron Anderson is broken up by the FSU DBs, and they're going to get to a 2nd and 10. They needed a play to not go for a gain there, get some confidence back, and LSU's already over the 50, but they can still make a play. John Emery Jr. looking for a lane, and he's able to drive the All-American Jared Verse all the way up the field till it's a 3rd and 1. 3rd and short for this LSU offense is a good place to be. They've had success so far, so we'll see if they stay with that running game that looks like they've been able to bring the attack to Florida State. This is going to be a handoff to Noah Cain, the transfer from Penn State, and he's able to bring up about 6 yards on a gain. And LSU, in a similar fashion to how FSU's offense was moving and grooving, they are in a similar spot here. This is going to be another snap to Daniels from the shotgun. He doesn't like the look he's getting, and he's able to scramble out before he's brought down by defensive tackle Braden Fisk in 2nd and 1 now for this LSU offense that is looking very much like they aren't intimidated. This is going to bring up a snap for Daniels. He's scanning over the middle of the field, looking, making a throw. Dangerous into traffic, and it's broken up by Jerrion Jones, who probably should have come up with that ball, but it's still going to bring in a 3rd and 1 for this Florida State defense and a chance to get off the field, force a field goal, and maybe get away with a lead here after the first set of drives. Daniels with the snap. He's firing to the end zone, but it's a lazy throw, and Greedy Vance, the Louisiana native, comes up with an interception and returns it to between the 20 and the 25, and Florida State will take over after the interception, which is huge there after LSU's offense was looking so dynamic and so in sync. Greedy Vance Jr. steps up with a play on a lazy throw by Jaden Daniels that you really can't figure out what he was looking at there, that he just threw that into traffic. And now that brings up Florida State's offense and a chance for them to go up 2 scores early on here with a minute to go in the first quarter. Snap to Travis, hands off to Benson, and he does not have much there, but that will get them 2 yards. But Benson has not been incredibly dynamic in the run game yet, but they have to keep pounding away and trying to get those looks. Travis from the bunch look. He has Keon Coleman wide open, but overthrows his man. And if Keon Coleman would have been able to get to that ball, he would have been running all the way to the end zone, and you could have imagined how this Doak Campbell Stadium would have felt on that one. This brings in a 3rd down where Florida State has already gotten a handful of conversions so far on this down, so no fear from them. Travis is going to run out. He is able to find the slot receiver Winston Wright, who is able to make a spin move and move all the way up to almost 20 yards of yardage for Winston Wright in the offense, and he keeps it moving. He had his first touchdown catch of his Florida State career in Week 1 against Oklahoma State, but was fairly quiet in the game against Alabama, so nice to see him getting involved early and making a nice move and showing that he's completely healthy after missing 2 years ago for the full season. Fakes the handoff to Benson, has a pitch man, but Travis keeps it and is only able to get 4 yards of positive yardage as he moves into the middle of the field. And that's a disappointing look that we're going to lose Winston Wright, the slot receiver, for 2 quarters after he looked so good on that spin move, and then the hit must have knocked him out. So Florida State, despite losing Winston Wright for a couple of quarters, is up 7-0 at the end of the first, and you have to think that they will take that with the ball at midfield. 2nd and 6 now for the Florida State offense. Handoff to Benson as he looks to make a move to the outside, but he is stopped for a loss. You have to figure a negative play like that for LSU's defense helps with the confidence and helps them feel like now they can make a play. They can get off the field here and get the offense back on the field. Travis with the snap. And he's going to look short right there to Jaheim Bell, who did not really have a lot of space to make a move, but that gives Florida State an opportunity to not take a loss, keep the ball moving, and punt it away, and now forcing LSU inside their 30-yard line. This is going to be a handoff to John Emery Jr., has plenty of lane, just straight up the middle, and that's 15 yards of chunk right off the bat, and LSU is already approaching midfield again, looking to get back into this and tying this game up. Here's going to be the handoff to John Emery Jr., and similar to the last play, he has another big chunk, and he'll have, close to 20 yards before he fumbles it, but Kyron Lacey jumps on top of it, and this LSU offense is now at about the 35-yard line, and they probably don't want to settle for a field goal here. They are looking for the big play, trying to get on the board and tie this up after the interception that they had in the last drive. Flips the play, Daniels on the snap. Trying to make a scan. He's got plenty of time from the offensive line, and he hits the big man Brian Thomas Jr. for 18 yards, and they are at the red zone, ready to strike. This is where they had the turnover on the last drive. Jaden Daniels has to be more careful with the ball. He gets the snap again. He's looking, and finds Kyron Lacey, middle of the field. Let's have it happen again. Now we clearly know what LSU's game plan is. Is Florida State going to be able to respond and keep him out of the middle of the field? It's clearly not working so far. Snap to Daniels. He's looking to the end zone again, but stops short. Fires to John Emery Jr., the running back, and he gets into the end zone. And we are going to have a 7-7 game early on here at Doak Campbell Stadium, and this one is living up to the hype. Both offenses look comfortable against the defenses, and I think this one is clearly going to come down to which defense can step up and make plays, because right now it has not happened for both of these teams. Handoff to Benson. He's going to have some room to the outside, but stays more to the inside lane and picks up 6, and that's a nice pickup for their team that struggled a little bit on the ground to really have that big play. Travis on this snap fakes the handoff to Toafili, and he hits Jaheim Bell in a little bit of traffic, but that's 13 yards. The South Carolina transfer has been so good at finding space, been very sure-handed, and clearly one of Jordan Travis's most coveted targets so far. Man in motion for Florida State. They're looking, Travis scanning, and he's brought down, and no, he loses the ball too, and Savion Jones jumps on top of it, and LSU makes that big play we were just talking about. And now Florida State, going from a team that was driving and looking comfortable on offense, gives the ball back over to LSU, a team that just shredded you through the air and on the ground, and that defense has to get back on the field, and they're going to have to respond in a similar way to LSU. If you're not going to get a turnover here, they're going to at least have to stop them, where it's going to force a long field goal for LSU and make things a little more difficult. But this handoff is going to John Emery Jr., and the defense is just widening out and giving John Emery Jr. every running lane. And there's 8 yards of free yardage in grass right before he gets hit. So LSU continuing where they left off. They look like they have no fear of this FSU defense so far, and they have been undeterred. Handoff to Emery Jr. He gets slipped up by his own tackle, and he's going to go down for no gain. But Florida State needs to take the victories where they can, and they now have a 3rd and 2. If they're able to stop LSU at this point, it's going to force a really long field goal. Handoff to Emery Jr., but he has plenty of space up the middle as usual. And that's 80 yards rushing so far total for this LSU team early, and 7 for 65 for Emery. You would think they need to keep pounding the ball to him. He has been so effective so far. This is going to go on a snap to Daniels. He's looking, and he's able to find Brian Thomas Jr., using that big frame to create plenty of space for himself, able to beat the defensive back Renardo Green. And Jaden Daniels, despite that interception, is his 2nd touchdown of the game, and they are up 14-7. Empty look for Florida State. On the screen pass, he gets it to Keon Coleman, who drops the ball, and that's just been a couple of really awkward throws that have come to Keon Coleman, and that chemistry that's been there in the first couple of weeks is not there today for Florida State. This is another screen look for Florida State. They get it out to Destin Hill, who is brought down immediately, and that is a loss of 4 on a reception. This LSU defense is now flying around, looking like they have all the confidence in the world, and the FSU offense looks like they do not have an answer to what LSU is giving them right now. 3rd and 14 for the FSU offense, looking for a big play, trying to get back online. Throws over to Johnny Wilson, but it is picked off. And LSU has gotten another turnover off Florida State's offense. That makes 2 straight possessions that Florida State has just given the ball away. And Quad Wilson is the one who provides that spark for the LSU defense on this go-around. And you have to imagine that Florida State is a little bit stunned. They had a similar kind of slow start against Alabama, but they really turned it on. This time, they have not been able to find the answer after their first drive that ended in a touchdown. This is Jaden Daniels going deep again. And Jerrion Jones, the second ball he's deflected, but also the second ball that he should have picked off, honestly. If you're going to win this game against LSU, you have to make more than just a good play. You have to make the great plays. This is Daniels on the drop back. He's able to find his tight end, Mason Taylor, for a gain of 7 and makes it into a manageable 3rd down, 3rd and 3. Needless to say, big opportunity for Florida State. Under 4 minutes to go in the half. You have got to assert some kind of dominance against this LSU offense. John Emery Jr., though, able to drive his legs and gets another 6 yards. They have to find those negative plays against this LSU offense if they want to get them off schedule and be able to get that pass rush there, which has been non-existent so far. LSU in the red zone again. Another opportunity for them to pounce. Daniels looking, but he's going to get brought down by Fabian Lovett on the sack. That's the big defensive tackle who's more of a run stopper, but able to put a nice move on the offensive lineman, and he is able to get to Jaden Daniels and able to get that kind of play that we were hoping for, that negative play to get some confidence back and make it a little more uncomfortable for LSU, who now faces a 2nd and 17 and is going to try and look to make up some yardage here. Handoff to John Emery Jr., who cuts one way but cuts back to the middle of the field where he's been so effective, only able to get 4 yards, and now you're looking at a 3rd and 13, a tough 3rd down for this LSU offense, you would imagine. Snap to Daniels again from the shotgun. He's scanning, has plenty of time from the offensive line, and that's Aaron Anderson, who dropped a ball earlier in the game, is able to get 7 yards and bring up a 4th and 6 that leads to a field goal and gets LSU's lead back to 17-7. In a dangerous spot for FSU, especially since LSU is getting the ball after halftime. Handoff and snap to Trey Benson, who gets a 3-yard gain, and it's 2nd and 7. That seemed like what the offense has been so far. There's been no spark. They need more if they want to stay in this game. Over the middle goes Keon Coleman, able to shake off a defender, and that's 11 yards for FSU. And Keon Coleman and Jordan Travis are going to have to re-spark that chemistry if they want to win this game. He's a huge part of this offense. Snap to Travis. He's throwing deep, trying to take advantage here. And the LSU defensive back, Darian Chestnut, the transfer from Syracuse, makes a play on the ball and gives them a 2nd and 10. Travis on the screen now to Rodney Hill. He makes the catch. He's able to have a little bit of blocking, but LSU is able to bring enough guys over, and this is a 3rd and 6. Even though they've been comfortable in 3rd down, going 4 for 7, they have still had a little bit of a rougher look at the last couple of drives here for Florida State. Can't give one away again. Snap and a shot. He hits Johnny Wilson, who's able to box out his defenders, able to get the ball for himself, and that's 20 more yards for the FSU offense with 55 seconds to go. Snap and fakes the handoff. Travis looking, and that ball is almost picked off by Darian Chestnut. Second ball in this drive that he's able to get his hands on, and now Florida State has 2 wide receivers to the right, tight ends to his left. Travis trying to take another shot, finds Johnny Wilson, able to streak up the field and get 21 more yards, and it's so nice to see the big plays from Johnny Wilson coming into this offense. That's kind of what we were missing in the first couple of weeks of the season, and they're kind of going to a good look against this LSU team. He throws it up, and it's picked. Greg Brooks Jr. What was he looking at there? It looked like Johnny Wilson had some separation, but he just throws the ball up and almost in a lob and throws it right to Greg Brooks Jr., and you're looking at 32 seconds where LSU probably can play it pretty safe here, but also take a couple of shots at maybe getting more points before halftime. Snap to Daniels, and that ball is knocked away by Kalen DeLoach. He has 4 tackles and a deflection on the day and has been all over the field because LSU has been running it well here. Daniels throws it right into traffic, and Kalen DeLoach knocks another one away. You would hope he would put 2 hands on one of these, and that would help. But now they're just going to run the ball with John Emery Jr., who has plenty of yards up the middle, but it'll be a little bit short there for a 4th and 3 on a 7-yard gain. LSU is going to boot this one away now with 22 seconds, hoping to keep Florida State out of scoring position. Just have to do that for 18. seconds as Destin Hill takes the ball, and he's going to try and find a lane, and he's going to head to the outside, and he's going to have a lot of room here. Only going to leave Florida State with 11 seconds, but a 21-yard return still leaves time for a couple of plays in this Florida State offense, looking for something explosive to help them out here early. 10 seconds to go. Travis on the snap, fires into the middle of the field to Johnny Wilson, and he is able to work his way all the way down to the 25-ish yard line, and they have 6 seconds, but take a timeout, stop the clock, and now they will probably be able to run one play here and then get a field goal off if they don't get in the end zone. Snap to Travis, nothing looks open available, and he throws the ball on the opposite side. You would have thought he would have thrown it to the strong side there, but throws it away to the opposite end. And this is going to bring on Ryan Fitzgerald. Snap is up, kick is up, and this ball is going to be no good as it hits off the crossbar, and nothing is going right for Florida State. This ball just looked a little wobbly from the start, and that does not inspire a lot of confidence in Ryan Fitzgerald. And Florida State is going to go into halftime against LSU down 17-7, and it kind of feels like it could have been worse with how well LSU has played on the offensive side. That 17 points seems pretty optimistic, but this offense has to show up a little bit more and provide a little bit of pressure to that LSU defense, who has gotten a couple of nice plays, and they are now in a position to win this game. Daniels is going to have the play-action snap to start this half, and he is going to sit back plenty of time with this offensive line, who's done a great job. And another lob that finds the hands of a Florida State defender. This time it's Fentrell Cypress Jr., the number one corner on this team, gets his second interception of the season, and Jaden Daniels decides to effectively arm punt on the first play of the second half. And after that weird play, Florida State has some new life. Gets the snap and the handoff to the redshirt freshman Rodney Hill, and he will find 3 yards, and it's 2nd and 7 for the Florida State offense, who is going to need something here. LSU has been the one taking advantage of your turnovers. You need to do the same here. This is going to be a handoff to Toafili, and he's able to find plenty of grass, and that's 13 yards. And the FSU offense seems to have a little bit of momentum, and they got to take advantage of it, as we've been talking about. You can't let another drive go to waste. Travis finds Toafili, who's been really nice in the pass game and in the run game so far this season, just hasn't had the touches, and it might be a game where you need to go to him more if Trey Benson isn't able to stay on his usual pace. But this snap will go to Benson, and this is one of his nicer runs of the game, and he will find about 10 yards with that one, and that's 77 rushing yards total for Florida State, which is way below their average of what they usually have. Ball in motion to Winston Wright, and he's able to work this after he's come back from his injury and get about, 8 yards for Winston Wright? And that's a nice gain for him in Florida State. Now in a 2nd and short, couple of opportunities here. Screen pass to Keon Coleman, who, that ball was high and away, thankfully, but he makes a nice catch as the defender just immediately tackles him, and it's a 3rd and 2, nice chance for Florida State. Handoff to Benson, and he is met immediately there by the linebacker, who lights up Benson. Greg Penn III, making the kind of play that Florida State has been looking for on defense, but now it's going to bring on Ryan Fitzgerald, a kicker who just missed a similarly distanced field goal to end the half. This one is up, and it will be good this time, and Florida State cuts the lead to 7 points. A 17-10 game, and it hasn't been pretty, but at least you're back within one score and kind of feel like you have a pulse in this game with only 6 minutes left in the third. Snap to Daniels, plenty of time for that offensive line again, and he's able to find Malik Neighbors for his first catch of the game. A guy who had a lot of nice plays in their game against TCU is showing up a little bit now. Snap to Daniels again. Plenty of time, same story, and he hits Brian Thomas Jr., who has been all in the weak spots of the zones, and every time that Florida State has played zone, he's been able to sit down somewhere and just kind of find his area and make plays. It's that simple. Florida State is not going to be able to get away with a lot of these looks. They're going to have to vary things if they want this LSU offense to be the least bit disturbed by what they're doing. Daniels under center, handoff to John Emery Jr., middle of the field, and he loses the ball for the 2nd time, but this time it's recovered by the offensive lineman Miles Frazier. And this one's going to have a bigger cost for the team, as Miles is down on the ground, seems to be a little bit dazed, not looking in the best of shape as they take him off the field. Maybe Florida State can get more of a pass rush with a backup offensive lineman in now. Snap to Jaden Daniels. He's scanning and looking. He's going to have to go to a running lane, and he slides down after a minimal gain. And this is 3rd and 5, and again, the word of the day, opportunity for a Florida State defense. This is not a gimme field goal range. You need to make a play and make things difficult for them. They send a linebacker on the blitz, but that's going to cost them as Kyron Lacey makes the catch over his shoulder, and that is a touchdown for LSU, 24-10. Kyron Lacey with a coming out party, saying he's not just a slot receiver, he's got plenty of dynamic playmaking ability. And the ensuing kickoff goes to Winston Wright, who works his way to the outside of the field and keeps working towards that sideline, and he is able to get close to the 50-yard line on the return. And the word for this drive is going to be response. We're going to need to see some kind of fight and some kind of response from Florida State with under 5 minutes to go in the third. Travis finds one of his favorite targets, Jaheim Bell. He won't get first down yardage, but it will be a 2nd and 1 for the Florida State offense. And we're going to need to see a running game that can actually stay on pace and keep this team in good situations, and all we've been able to see them do is get these 3 or 4 yards at a time for the most part. So maybe they're going to need the pass game to get those chunk plays and just get those short conversions where they can. There's going to need to be an adjustment. Morlock in motion. It's going to be a screen pass out to Johnny Wilson, and he's brought down early. All of these screen passes have been sniffed out, and LSU's defense has been all over it and clearly well prepared in today's game. Winston Wright able to get a call over the middle of the field, and he gets that drag route turned up the middle and get to an 11-yard gain, and that's 2 catches for 30 yards for the West Virginia transfer. Travis in the snap. Here it comes to Rodney Hill, and he's able to work his way for a similar 3-yard rush that we've seen from the offense, but all of these LSU linebackers are working downhill so well that that's about all the room they got. This time Benson tries to go off tackle, and he's thrown down for a 2-yard gain. 2 runs in a row, a little bit of a different look for Florida State, but this brings up a 3rd and 5 that is most likely going to be a pass with the down and distance. Travis working his way to the right, now on a full sprint, trying to see somebody come open, looking, and he's going to throw this one a little awkwardly, but it gets to Jaheim Bell, who has really been that safety blanket for the offense when things break down. Snap to Travis, handoff to Toafili, and he's able to get a little bit more room than everybody. You have to think they get more carries to him after another 6 yards. He's clearly the running back, seeing things the best and getting the best blocking right now. Stay with what you know. Snap, throws over to Bell in the middle of the field, and that tight end, Jaheim Bell, gets a 7-yard touchdown, and it's well rewarded after some really nice catches that he's had early on in the game, and been that guy who's done the dirty work, getting the 6, 7, 8 yards at a time on the catches, and when the plays have been breaking down, he's been breaking free. So nice to see Jaheim Bell get rewarded with a touchdown after he's done some really nice underrated work today. 24-17, LSU with the ball back, minute 47 to go. Now that we've seen Florida State's response, what does LSU have in their chamber? Well, they have a run to John Emery Jr., who's brought down by Fabian Lovett, who's had a really nice game in the middle of the defense, but he needs some support from his outside guys, see if they can make a play on the edge for him. It's been that part of the defense that's been weak. This is going to be another handoff to Emery Jr., who is able to cut to the outside of the tackles, and he's able to keep pounding into FSU defenders, not scared of any kind of physical nature there, and that's another 9-yard gain and a minute 10 to go in the third quarter. Man in motion and a flipped play for LSU. Snap to Daniels. He's got plenty of options, and he's going to hit Brian Thomas Jr., one of his favorite targets, and he finds the middle. He's been working really well on the outside, but he makes a cut to the middle of the field there and had plenty of room, as usual, in the Florida State defense. This is going to be a throw to Kyron Lacey. There's going to be a missed tackle that he forced, and he's running all the way to the 20-yard line. And the career night continues for Kyron Lacey after those 36 yards. 5 catches, 118 yards. And this offense is continuing to move and looks so impressive, not just in an SEC landscape, but a national landscape. Man in motion for LSU, Daniels with the snap, and he's going to be able to avoid the sack and finds his tight end, Mason Taylor, for a big chunk and gets them down to the 2 or 3 yard line. And the LSU offense now in the red zone, where they've been decently successful but did have a turnover earlier in the game. And he's got plenty of options and just lobs this one over to the left side of the end zone to Kyron Lacey. Who else? 2nd touchdown of the game, 6th catch for Kyron Lacey, and they are up 31-17. FSU back to work again. He's able to find his man Trey Benson, who just is not able to find his footing and goes out of bounds, and this leads to the end of the third quarter, where LSU is up 31-17. Every drive is precious now for Florida State. Every time they have the ball, if they do not score a touchdown, they are putting themselves in danger of surrendering this game. Not to overstate it, but that's where we are now with 9 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Bunch set for Florida State. Travis trying to escape. Does he have room? And he gets rid of it, thankfully. And it's going to bring up a 3rd and 13 on a night where Travis has not been bad, but he has had a few of these giveaways that have really hurt Florida State in the first half. Snap to Travis. He has nothing. He scrambles out to the right as usual. He's going to see if he can do it with his legs, but he's brought down after 3 yards. And the LSU defense makes a play early on in the 4th, and FSU punts it back, and LSU is immediately going to have the ball at the 45-yard line. Fakes the handoff, and Daniels is able to shake off a defender and just drives his body all the way close to the first down marker, but he'll be 2 yards short. And that has just been a different mentality that LSU has had than FSU. He gets the snap, fakes the handoff this time, and he's going to go run it again. And there are just FSU defenders staring at him, not even running at him. And Jaden Daniels is having these free runs and 18 yards. He will take that all day. And LSU, once again, approaching that dreaded red zone for the FSU defense. Handoff to John Emery Jr., and that's 3 more yards, 2nd and 7. But he looks a little bit shaken up, and the 100-yard rusher is going to have to take some time off, and it looks like they have this one well in hand now. Snap to Daniels. He's going to go and dump it off to his running back, Noah Kane, for 5 yards, and it's a 3rd and short that they're probably going to miss Emery here, but maybe they still have something in their back pocket to get this conversion. Snap to Daniels, and he's going to get run down and sacked by Darrell Jackson Jr., the big man, the 6'6", 300-pounder, goes and gets one there and forces an LSU field goal that brings this game to 34-17. 6.5 minutes to go. It is truly go time for this Florida State offense. And by go time, I mean a go route to Johnny Wilson that connects down to the 30-yard line. He has had such a nice game today, and it's been refreshing to see Travis and Wilson regain that connection. But it is a hurry-up time, and they need scores, and they need them quick. They are down 3 scores, and every second is precious, so the hurry-up offense is now ready. FSU's offense ready to get back in high gear. Back to the line, snap to Travis. He's going to try and throw another screen pass to Coleman, and this one loses 2 yards. What is this offense seeing that they think that they can keep throwing these screen passes? Clearly, FSU has thought that they had something against this defense, and the defense has said, oh no. And this is going to be a nice throw to Portier, who's going to have the lane all the way to the corner of the end zone. And that is a 32-yard catch and score for Kentron Portier. And Florida State will bring this one back to 34-24. But now we see an onside kick. What are they thinking? They still have timeouts and plenty of time. You have to trust the defense, but maybe this is the sign they don't. And who else but Brian Thomas Jr., the big man, goes and hops on that ball, and LSU already over the 50. Maybe just let them have the ball and let them score at this point. The running back Noah Kane's going to take this carry, and he's going to rush for 8 yards. Doesn't seem like it even matters who's in the backfield at this point. This FSU defense seems exhausted and cannot find the answers. This is a nice short throw to Brian Thomas Jr., but gets another 5 or 6 yards just based on being tougher and running through these really, quite frankly, weak tackles from Florida State, which is really disappointing to see. Daniels sees nothing as he's dropped back. He's going to scramble to the outside, have some room, but picks up 4 yards, and it's been those kind of plays that have been really impressive for Daniels, not forcing things after a couple of poor decisions early on, and has just scrambled when he's needed to and made the checkdowns as necessary. Another handoff to Noah Kane. He'll be 2 yards short of the first down, and now LSU can pick up a 3rd down here. It would be really crucial for Florida State to make this stop, and it is batted away by Shaheem Brown, which forces the field goal, and it is a 37-24 game, keeping this at a 2-score deficit. Florida State's going to have to keep that pace, though, that they had a little bit earlier. Go to the hurry-up, try and look for some quick hitter looks. Snap to Travis. He's scanning, and he's able to find, nope, dropped by Deuce Spann, a guy that has had no looks today and then drops one. That is not going to help your confidence. Snap to Travis. He's trying to escape, but he gets brought down for a sack. And this offensive drive is not going the way you would expect. It's Savion Jones, who had that fumble recovery earlier, adds a sack to his repertoire, and it's 3rd and 15 for the Florida State offense. Desperate for a big look here. You need a quick hitter. You're running out of time, under 4 minutes to go. On the snap to Travis, drifting to the right again, trying to escape. What is he going to do here? And he throws it away. Now you're at 4th and 15, and the punt unit is out, which they probably just feel like they have no answers, and it's time to punt it away, that they don't feel like they have a 4th and 15 in them right now, and maybe try and see if Jaden Daniels will give one away to you. On the punt, Noah Cain is able to return it with just pure sense of force and gets about 11 yards for him as they're near the 50-yard line again. This game looks well in hand for LSU after that punt. They're going to go and hand off to Noah Cain, who breaks off a tackle and works his way to the outside and has plenty of room, and this is just deja vu again for Florida State. That's 20 more yards for Noah Cain, as he has done a nice job replacing John Emery Jr. and giving them a spark that Florida State has yet to see in the run game. This is going to be a pass for LSU, who does not look like they are done trying to score, and Kyron Lacey might as well add another 16 yards to the ledger with that catch. Under 3 minutes to go and trying to wind the game down a little bit, it looks like, as they're running down the play clock down to about 3 or 2. But they are going to pass it, and this is a catch for Malik Neighbors, the unsung hero of the LSU offense. Has only got 2 catches today, but his other receivers have been taking care of that. Fakes the handoff, and Daniels works to the outside, but is brought down for a loss by Darrell Jackson Jr., the big man who had a sack earlier on in the half here. 2:14 to go. Daniels on the snap, finds his man, Brian Thomas Jr., who's had such a nice day that might as well cap it off with a touchdown. And this is a 44-24 game. Travis still in the game for Florida State. Seems a little weird with 2 minutes to go, but this handoff to Trey Benson is able to get about 10 yards, and the offense has a first down and 105 yards rushing. Why are you keeping Jordan Travis in the game at this point? You're just putting him in danger. You're not going to make up the 3 scores in under 2 minutes. Travis gets the snap. He is able to find Keon Coleman for a minimal gain, which has just been the story of what we've seen so far. And this LSU defense has been swarming and seemed to be knowing what Florida State was going to be doing even before they did it. Another snap to Travis. He looks and finds Johnny Wilson, who, as we mentioned before, has had such a nice game that it's nice to see them get that chemistry back. But it's going to look like it's going to come in a losing effort after those 7 catches for 139 yards. And you have to admire Travis for still staying out there, despite how irresponsible it may be with this Benson carry, that they are still trying to give the offense some confidence that you don't want to end the game with a way that LSU's defense has kind of dominated you lately. With a man in motion, Travis gets the snap and he's able to find Kentron Portier, who's had a nice response after he dropped a touchdown early on in the game, and he's been able to get a couple of catches and probably get some confidence back. Snap to Travis out of the 5 wide. He's rolling out to the right, looking for his man. Looks like he's got nothing. He's going to run all the way past the first down marker, and that's a 12-yard rush. Staying in the 5 wide with 22 seconds left. Still seeing if they can get one more big play in that confidence booster. This time rolls out to the left. Doesn't look like he has anything looking, and he's hit hard and thrown to the ground. And ooh, that did not look pretty. And as you might imagine, this is going to bring on the backup quarterback, Tate Rodemaker. Jordan Travis looks to be fine, but they aren't going to risk anything any further. They're just going to let Rodemaker take the 1 snap and probably end this game, stop putting some guys in danger. This is going to be a handoff to Hill. He'll work for 3 yards, which has been just what the offense has looked like today. And that's going to seal this one as a 44-24 win. And Jaden Daniels with a spectacular performance has got to be a contender for a Heisman now after the way that he just went into Doak Campbell Stadium and took down the number 2 team in the nation with ease, it seemed like. And LSU has clearly established themselves as not just an SEC contender, but they may be the contender to make it to the playoff out of the SEC this year. Now, clearly, that wasn't the way that I wanted that game to go, and one of the more distressing parts about this game is I don't think we played that poorly on the offensive side of the ball. Sure, I would like to score more than 24 points, but in this one, the defense just let us down. This performance from Jaden Daniels was pretty awesome. If you take away those 2 interceptions, which are odd nonetheless, he played spectacularly, and if our defense is going to respond that way to good quarterbacks, this is going to happen every time. Giving up 44 points like that just isn't going to be the answer. And then obviously the way that the running game was today, you look at all those yards per carry outside of Lawrence Toafili, and it's pretty disappointing. And only giving him 3 carries after he had such a nice start is on me. John Emery Jr., 14 carries, 100 yards exactly, was just gashing us at every turn, and then Noah Cain almost averaging 10 yards a carry kind of speaks a lot of volumes there as well. On the positive side though, first game that I really got to use Johnny Wilson in the way that I wanted to, and I felt much more comfortable with him in this game for some reason. And, you know, it's easy when you have a 6'7" receiver, but that's somebody I need to keep more involved in the offense too, and this can't just be a one-off. I'm going to have to do more of that and also reintegrate Keon Coleman, because the game that I had with him today and the way that I used him was really bad. I have to take some ownership of that part of it too. And, we saw that these sliders do punish you. The defense does play well. They make plays on you. And I think this game is playing on a gameplay level kind of the way that I wanted to. So that was nice to see, but I didn't think it was going to come at the expense of a 20-point loss. And then LSU's receivers, how much more can we say about Kyron Lacey? He was amazing. 7 catches, 138 yards, and 2 touchdowns, and it felt like 200 yards at times. He was in the middle of the field for every play, every big play. He was doing it in so many different ways, and then Brian Thomas Jr. was awesome as well. So this is one that we're going to have to reflect a little bit on of how we really want to go from here. But the important thing to remember is that we had our 2 SEC West games against teams out of our division early on, and we have all of our SEC East games remaining. If we beat all of those SEC East teams, we are going to get that bid to the SEC Championship, and maybe that's going to set up a future date with LSU. And despite the result today, still got to say, go Noles.